Hello my friends from all over the world, welcome to the YouTube channel. In today's episode we are going to build this amazing looking website you see on the screen with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let me give you a tour of what we're going to be able to achieve. So I'm going to refresh the page so you can see how everything adds up. Okay, so we have this nice slide up animation and we have this simple header. And I don't know if you notice, but you see that we have these circles and they are actually moving. Okay, so that's a kind of animation that we're going to implement in the project. Okay, so let me scroll down and show you how everything animates nicely. So we're going to build this project in this tutorial. Okay, yeah, so very beautiful and interesting project. Now in this section we have a kind of parallax effect. So you see, as I move, the background stays put. Okay, so let me just show you. So that's what we're going to be able to achieve in this project. Okay, see, in the previous project I used a simple footer. Okay, but in this one I decided to just do something different. All right, so one more thing before we get started. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like content around web development and tech in general, then you should support me by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like on this video right now. All right, thank you so much for that, and let's get started. But also before then, I am working on a JavaScript massive JavaScript course. Okay, it's going to contain it's a project-based course, right? And if you want to know when that course will be out, you can just go to my website xenotrustacademy.com. I'll leave a link in the description for you to get there. Okay, and just put in your email so that I'll notify you when that course is out. Also, if you would like to check out some of my courses on Udemy, there is always a coupon code on my website that will help you get access to the course for less than $10, mostly less than $10. Okay, so if you want to check out any of the course I have on the website, you can go ahead and check them out. Very interesting course. All right, thank you so much for supporting me, and let's get started. Oh, I actually realized that I have not shown you how responsive this is. Okay, so it's a responsive website. If I reduce the size of the browser, everything actually responds, everything adjusts nicely. So let me just shrink this up and you'll see that everything adjusts nicely. Okay, so let me just take it to the mobile width, okay, which is like the smallest. Now it's important that you know that sometimes you can get creative with the way you design your menu. Okay, see, this is the way I chose to design my menu in this project. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be a slide down menu or a slide in menu. You can design a simple menu and it will still be effective. And then we have this smooth scrolling effect. So you see what happens, it scrolls smoothly to that section. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to build in the project. All right, now there's going to be different aspects to this project. Okay, one of the aspects is that in a follow-up video I'm going to show you how to add the animation, and then in another video I'm going to show you how to host this website on a free hosting platform. I'm going to do for Netlify, I'm going to do for github.io. okay, then I'm also going to show you how you can save the email address, or you can save your form data in one of the free hosting platforms. So it's actually like a series. Okay, so I would like you to follow me closely on this one, and let's get started. Okay, so what we have here, basically we have index.html, okay, that just has this boilerplate. This is basically what I use to build projects. Okay, it's like my personal customized template. Okay, so I'm just first going to change the title to let me see, landing page. Okay, all right, and then we have styles.css, which should actually be the second file here. Okay, my styles.css contains some predefined styles like variables for the colors, a reset, and some really general styles. Okay, I've set something for my container, I've just given it a max width, and then I have some styling for the section. Okay, so that's what my and then I also have these fonts I imported from Google, excuse me. All right, then also recently I started separating my media queries into another file for tutorial purposes, I don't want things to be jumbled up, me scrolling up and down on my styles.css. It's empty, and then I have an empty script.js. So basically that's what I have. And of course I have an images folder. Where is my images? Okay, it contains all of the images we're going to be using for this project. All right, so let's get started. So index.html, I'm going to right click and I'm going to open with live server. Okay, and if you know about the way I do my tutorials, you know that I actually explain what I do. Okay, I don't just I don't just code and play some music in the background. I want you to understand what I'm doing and to follow me on what I'm doing. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why you should actually check out some of my courses. Okay, all right, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start creating the header. All right, and basically we're going to do that inside a header tag. Okay, so let's get started. So header, and everything is going to be, I do container based development. Everything is going to be inside a container. Okay, but this container is also going to have a class of header. Okay, then inside this we're going to have a nav tag. This nav tag is going to have a class of nav unordered list -ul. Okay, because it's an unordered list we're going to put inside. Okay, well, not the nav, so let me just get rid of the ul. Okay, so the nav is going to have, first off, we're going to put a logo because that's the first thing there. So it's an image, and the image has, so let's go into the images folder, and I think it's logo.svg. Okay, so yeah, let's give it an alt text of logo, and then below the logo, that's where we then put in the unordered list. Okay, so this unordered list is going to have a class of nav-ul. Okay, and inside that list we're going to have list items with a link. Okay, so that link is going to be a, and then I'm just going to tab that. The link is actually, okay, they're actually going somewhere. So the first one is home and it's not going anywhere, so I'm just going to put a hash inside of it, and I think I should just duplicate this first. Okay, so I'll duplicate this 1 2 3 times, and then I'll slot in home and services and features, and the last one is going to be get started. Okay, now this last one is going to have a class. The link itself is going to have a class of call to action, that's CTA. Okay, then for the link items, they are going to have this href, right, is going to go to the various areas here. So this first one is going to be services, and the next one is going to be features, I think. Okay, and this last one is going to go to action, because that's where the user is supposed to take an action and do something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this button. Okay, so I'll come outside of the unordered list. I'll create a div with a class of wow, I gave this login. Let me see. Okay, I'll just create a div. I'm not going to give it any class. I don't think I used that class. Okay, so inside of the div, I'm going to have an a tag that actually doesn't do anything. So, but it's going to say, oh, it's actually going to have a class of button, btn, and it's going to say get started. Okay, so this is it for the menu section. I'm going to save this and let's see what we have. So whenever we write our markup, right, it's always ugly, like without CSS. But thank God we have CSS and we can actually, implement some stuff. So let's get started with the styling. So go to CSS file and let's scroll down. And if you watch my tutorials, I like to, header section, something like that, just to so that when I'm scrolling, to look for a particular style, I can easily see that, oh, I'm in the header section or something like that. So the first thing we want to do is let's target the header and let's give it a width of 100%. Let's add some padding for the header, and we'll just say 2.5 rem on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. Then let's add a background property, so just background. Okay, the background is going to be a linear gradient. So if you look at the first website here, you see that here is kind of blue. Is it blue, light blue? And then here the color changes. That's a linear gradient property that starts from here and comes down here. Actually, I am not very intelligent with colors. Okay, like I'm not colorblind. I know the difference between two colors, but sometimes it's difficult for me to say that, okay, this is the name of this particular color. That's what I mean. Okay, so for this color, I really don't know what to place this color. So if you know the name of this color, right, I would like you to tell me in the comment section, what is this color, because I just used the color code. And please don't laugh at me. Okay, there are so many people out there that are like me too. All right, so I'm going to come back to my linear gradients. All right, so linear gradients, I'll say, how do I want the direction of the linear gradient to be? So I'll say to right and bottom. So that's the first thing, and then you then specify the colors. So I think the first color I used was, you can use your variable here, so I'll use light. Okay, so light blue is, oh no, that's not how it's supposed to be. So I guess I have to say var and light blue. Okay, and then you add a comma and you specify the next color. So the next color is the color I told you I don't know how to name, and please don't share my secret with anybody. So like I said, please just tell me the name of this color in the comment section. Okay, the name of this color, this one down here, and the same one here. Okay, all right, so that's the linear gradient property that has taken effect. You see that it starts blue here and then it changes as it comes here. All right, so let's set a border radius. So I'll see border radius for the header, and let me show you what I want to achieve. You see at the bottom here, you see we have this curved, distance. So I just decided that, okay, let's try something different with our border. Okay, so border radius is going to be on the top left and right 0 0, and then on the bottom we're going to do 5 rem and 5 rem, and we save that, and you see we have this curved. All right, and for the header, okay, so I think it's fine. So what we need to do then is to begin styling. So let's come here and let's target the logo. So I'll say the logo, and for the logo, basically let's just set a height. So I'll say height. Something is wrong. Okay, so I'll say height of 3.5 rem, and let's give it some margin. Is there any need for a margin? Let me save that. Okay, so I think I'll just leave it at 3.5 rem for now. Then I'll say nav. For the navigation, I would use my display flex. Now let me show you something I did. Okay, I have a video where I did a video on how to create your own code snippets. So display flex, justify content, align items are things I use very well. So basically I did a snippet of flex, and if I hit tab, it generates this code for me. So all I need to do is just to change this to class to whatever it is I want. So I'll save that, and oh, it's not .nav, it's just nav. So I'll save that, and you see it has taken effect. So that's just one of the ways I decided to make my life easier. Okay, I'll come here, I'll see .nav, and I have a video on the channel that can show you how to create your own code snippet. I'll leave a link in the description for that. Okay, so I'll say .nav-ul, which is the unordered list. I would also give that a display of flex, flex, and I would save that. Let's see. Okay, so that's fine. Then let's get the list item inside it. So I'll say dot nav hyphen li, sorry, nav ul, and targeting the list items inside of it. So first off, let's remove the list style and set it to none. Let's do some padding of 0 on the top and bottom, and let's just do 5 pixels on the left and right, and save. Okay, that will space it out a little bit. Then let's target the link itself. Okay, so I'll say dot nav ul li and the link, that's it. Okay, what do we want? We want to set a font size of, well, 1.6 rem seems fine, and let's do the font weight. So font weight of 600. Let's do text decoration to none. Let's do color to white. So that's how I use my variables. Okay, I'll save that. All right, so you see what we have. Then now what we are going to target is, we're going to target the button, this call to action button here. Okay, and I'm just going to come out here and say dot sorry, the first thing I want to do is this get started, right? You know, it's already here. So when it's in desktop mode, I'm going to hide this get started such that this button will suffice for the get started call to action. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say .cta, and I'm going to set it to display and none, and save. So you see it's going to hide the get started. Okay, so we just have 3 menu items and then the button. Okay, so now let's go ahead and style the button. So I'll come down, I'll see dot btn. Okay, so button usually have a lot of styles, so let's just do 1.5 rem. Let's do a font weight of 700 as well. Let's set the text decoration to none. Let's set the background color, okay, to transparent. Maybe I should be saving this thing so you can see what's going on. Then let's add some padding. Okay, it makes sense to add a border first, so I'll add a border. This border is going to be 2 pixel 2px solid, and it's going to have the color of white. So okay, so if I save that exactly, so everything I do now will make sense. Now let's add some padding of 1 rem on the top and bottom, and 2 rem on the left and right. Voila, so you see the button is already taking shape. So let's add a border radius of 5 rem, so that's like 50 pixels. Okay, then opacity, well, I don't think we need the opacity. Let's add, there's going to be a hover class for the button, so let's add transition of all and 0.3 seconds, and save. All right, so that's the button. We want to give the button a color of white. Okay, so yeah, fantastic. So let me see what I even did for the hover. So when you hover on it, the background becomes white, the border changes to blue, and the text changes. Okay, so how do we do that? We come down, we say, okay, 2 spaces, we say dot btn and over pseudo class. Okay, so what do we want to change? First off, we want to change the background color to white. Then we want to change the border to, I can actually just copy this thing, just copy it here, man. So copy and paste that in, and then I'm just going to change the variable color to light blue. and then the color of the text itself, let's change to, I think we can just use blue. We have a blue actually, so blue, and save. So you see when we hover on it, it changes like so. All right, I don't think I can see the background color. Maybe I should change this to like 3 pixels. It's too light for 2 pixels. Then save. Yeah, so that looks better. Okay. So essentially we are almost done with the header, except that we need to add some media queries. The way I work, right, if I build this section, I like to just sort out the section completely, add the media queries before I then go to the next section. Okay, things look a lot jumbled up if I finish the whole website and then start adding media queries. Okay, so for the media queries, I would you know how we write media queries, right? So first off, let me add a comment, and this media query I'm adding is for mobile width of 600 pixels, okay, and below. Exactly, so this is fine. Now how do we add media queries? We start by saying at media, and we're adding media queries for screen, then and we're going to set a width. Okay, so in this case it's going to be max width of what? So max width of 600 pixels. Okay, now what this means is that this any css I put here will apply to device screen of 600 pixels and below. That's what max width mean. Okay, min width, if I say min width, it will simply mean that anything 600 pixels and above. That's pretty clear, right? All right, so let's get started. So first off, so this seems fine. So first off, I'm going to get the, okay, this button, let me just shrink this, right? So the first thing I want to do is on mobile width, I want to hide this button. So let me go to my index.html and see if I can target the button. So this is the button, right? And I don't have a class for it, so I'll add a class. I'll say, let me just say CTA-BTN. Okay, that's what I can think of now. So I'll come back to the media queries and I'll say .cta-btn, and I'll say display and set it to none and save that. Okay, then I'm also going to make the get started to show on the menu, and remember we gave it a class of CTA, call to action, and so I'll say display and set it to block and save, and boom, so we now have a get started in the menu. Okay, now what we want is that we want this menu to be below. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's target the nav first. So I'll say nav, and I'll say display block, and I'll say text align, and I'll set it to center. Okay, so you see what we've been able to achieve with just these 2 lines of CSS. Now I'm going to target the nav unordered list. So I'll say dot nav hyphen ul, which is the unordered list, and I'll just set the justify content to center. Voila, so you see, then let's add some border on the bottom. So border, and I'll just say 2px and solid, and I'll give it a color of white. So I'll just type it out. Okay, no, this should not be border all around, this should be border hyphen bottom. Okay, and I'll save that. All right, so that's fine. Then I would set a, let me look at the original document. Okay, yeah, so this is the original. So okay, all right, so now I will set a background color. Okay, So I'll say background color, and I'll use my RGBA. Open that up, and I want it to be black. So 000 and transparent, almost very transparent. So that I'll just say 0.2 for the opacity and save. And see we have a background color, but we need to add some padding to space things up. So let's just do a padding of 5px on the top and bottom, and 0 on the left and right. So that, yeah, that's better. Let's do a border radius, and we want the border radius to just be on the top. So 3px and 3px, then 0 save that. Yeah, okay. Then let's reduce the width. So width of, I'll just say 70% of the container. Okay, so but it has distorted it. So you know what we're going to do to center it? Center, we're going to set the center to 0 and auto to center it horizontally. Voila. So you see we have this nice looking menu here. I have a video on how to center anything with CSS. Like the title of the video is how to center anything with CSS. It's on the channel. I hope I remember to add it to the description. It will show you how to center anything both horizontally and vertically. All right, so but I think we're done with this one. I feel like I should add some padding after the logo. Okay, let me see. So let me go up, and I just want to place it. Okay, so I think it will be the first thing. So I can just say dot logo, although it's actually okay like this. It's not looking too bad. And let's just say margin hyphen bottom. Let's just do 5 pixels and see. So it looks better, I think. It doesn't look much different. Oh, did I give the logo a class? I don't think I did. So image, I didn't give it a class. Okay, so we're gonna have to target the header and then the image. So, but that's fine, we can do that. So I'll just change this to header and img. Yeah, so this is a lot better. Okay, there's some space. All right, so we're done with the this section. So we're going to then continue building out the rest of the section. All right, so let's go to, I think we can expand this now since we're done. All right, so let's go back to our index.html and let's continue. Okay, so now the good thing is that the next section, which I normally like to call the intro section, right, it's actually going to be inside the header, such that this linear gradient would just expand and continue smoothly. So this is the header here, right? I'll just come down and I'll create another div with a class of container. Normally I'll create another section for this, but because I want the linear gradients to just continue smoothly from the header down, that's why I'm doing this. So we'll create a new class of container and intro. And the intro simply means like an introduction to that section, like an introduction to what the website is about. Sorry. Okay. All right, so let's add a h1. That's the first thing we need to do, and I can just go ahead and grab this h1. No need for too much typing. When we already have it, we can simply just copy and paste, and down below we are going to add a paragraph. So I'll just say p, and then I'll just copy the paragraph here like so, and I'll paste that in. Then we have this button. So for the button, it's just a simple a tag, right? So I can even just come here and grab this button. Okay, no need to put it inside a div. You can just put it there, it's still fine, like so. And what does the button say? Start free trial today. So we got to change the text of the button. So start free trial today. Yeah, so that's fine. Then the button is going to have, okay, nothing is actually going to change. That's the button. So then we're going to add this image. So for the image, we actually just going to add an image tag, and the source is going to be, let's go to the images folder, and what did I name that? I think it's mark.png. Yeah, all right. So that's it for the markup, but we need to add these circles here, right? So let's just add the markup for the circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the header, right? And I'm going to go outside of the container, in other words directly inside the header. And let me tell you why I'm doing that. Okay, maybe first I'll create the this. So I'll say the div with a class of shape. I could have easily said circle, so shape, and a modifier class of shape1, or modifier class of okay, maybe I'll just say shape. I'll then give it a number. So this should be shape. Okay, and then I'll duplicate these two more times. So let me separate things out. Oh, I wasn't even adding comments to show you these things, but I'm sure you understand. So this will be 2 and this will be 3. Okay, so all of the shapes, right, are going to have this common class of shape, and we're going to modify them. So they're actually circles, right, but they have different sizes, different colors. That's what the shape 1, 2, 3 is meant for. So I'll save that and let's look at what we've done. Yeah, so this is what we've done. So you see that everything just enters into the header, and the linear gradient for the header just goes nicely down. Okay, so what's important is that we're able to conceptualize what we're building. Okay, so let's go and add some CSS to this. So I'll come to my CSS file and I'll see, what I like to do. So intro section, and let's duplicate that. Okay, so for the intro section, first let's target the intro class. Okay, let's set the text align to center. What's going on there? All right, so we for the intro, okay, so let's add a color of white. So white, let's do some padding of just on the top, really. So I'll just say 10 rem on the top, and so I should probably say padding - top here. Then let me save that and let's see what okay, so this is great, this is fantastic, coming out nicely. Then okay, for let's target the h1. Okay, so I'll say dot intro and h1, not too much, so let's just do a font size of 5 rem and a font weight of 600. Then let's do a line height of 1 and a padding on the bottom, so padding bottom of 1 rem, and save that. Great, so this is what we have. Let's go ahead and add some styles for the text. So I'll say dot intro, and paragraph. For that we want to reduce the width to like 70% of the container. Then since we've done that, it has distorted it, so we're going to do margin. So it's just going to be margin, really, margin of 0 and auto. Save that, and boom, it's back to the center. Let's do some padding on the bottom of 4 m. Okay, save that, and you see we have some space between the text and the button. Let's do okay, so that's actually fine, I think, because we've added some predefined styles for our paragraph initially, so we're just trying to arrange things a little. So what do we have to do next? The image. Yeah, so let's target the image. So I'll say dot intro and image. For the image, let me show you something. So let me go to the original document. You see that the image comes outside of the header section, and it's intentional. So let's see how we can do that. So this is the image here, right? For the image, let's set a transform property, and we're going to say we want to translate on the y-axis. So y-axis is the vertical axis, x-axis is the horizontal axis. Yeah, yeah, your basic math. So we're going to set that to 12 rem. Okay, if you save that, you see that it has pushed it down. Okay, now let's give it a width of 80%. And what do we do? Let's do, okay, let me save that and see. Yeah, so that's fine, really. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is to set these moving balls. Okay, we'll create the balls and animate them. So we've already created the markup. It's just to add the CSS. So we set it as shape. So we're going to say that shape, and let's give it a width of 15 rem actually. So 15 rem, and that's going to be the height. Okay, because when you want to make a circle in CSS, it has to be the same width and the same height. So then let's give it a background color of, so we're going to say RGBA, and we're going to set the black, so 000 and an opacity of 0.2. Okay, so this is the shape here, and it doesn't really look nice, but we're getting there. So let's do a border radius of 50%. Save that. So you see, let's do a animation, Z index animation. Which one comes first? Let's see. So let's do animation, TION. So, but we've not created the animation yet. So I think we should actually create the animation first. Okay. Or should we? No, I don't think we should create it first. Let's create the modifier classes first. So I'll say dot shape one. Okay. So you see we are targeting this first shape here. What do we want to change for the shape one? Okay, so I think for all the shapes we're going to give it a position of absolute, so that we can, and we are going to come to the original container, which is the header. Okay, because the shape is inside of the header, remember. So we're going to say this header here, and we're going to give it a position of relative. Okay, so that the shape is going to be relative to the header. Okay, so now all the shape are stacked on top of each other. That's why it's darker. So how do we deal with that? We then use the modifier classes. So shape one is the first, and we're going to say that from the left, for the shape one, we want it to be 1 rem from the left, and from the top I'm going to use percentage, so 10%. Okay, then I'm going to change the background color. No, the background color for the shape one doesn't need to change, so it's fine. So what I'm going to do now is, let me just duplicate this. Okay, 1 2, and I'll modify it. So this is going to be shape 2, and for the shape 2, I'm going to change the size. So first off, oh sorry, this is shape 2. So first off, let's do width of, I'll change it to 10 rem, and of course it's going to be same for the height. So height, okay, and then from the left I'll set it to be 25 rem. Then from the top I'll set it to be 50%. So you see, this is where we've placed it now. All right, so we're going to do for shape 3, and for shape 3 we're going to change the actually it's even easier to just duplicate this for shape 3. Okay, so I'll just duplicate this and make it shape 3. Shape 3. So we're going to change the shape 3, the width and the height, to 30%, 30 rem, sorry. And from the left, I think, is it left or right? So right, we're going to do -5% from the right, -5 rem, sorry. Then from the top we're going to do -5%. Okay, and save. And you see, so this is what we have so far, but there's something we've not done. We're going to change the background color for these two shape shape 2 and 3. Okay, I think there's something we did for the shape 2. I'm just going to give it a background color of light blue. Let's save that. Okay, then for the shape 3, we're going to give it a background color of that color that I said I don't know the name. So let me just copy the code. Oh, it's even going to be RGBA. So we're going to use the RGBA color notation for shape 3. Let me just grab the code instead of typing it out. Okay, typing that color code is a pain. Okay, so I'll save that, and yeah, so this is what we have so far. Now you'll notice that the shapes are on top of the like this button. Now you see you can't click the button because the shape is on top of it. Same for this. So basically the way we fix that is we're going to give the shape, that's this one that applies to everything, a Z index. So maybe I should put it before the animation. So we're going to give it a Z index of 0. Okay, I'll save that, and it doesn't change anything because we've not given the set the Z index. So I'll come to the header. Where is the header? And I'll give the header a Z index of, let's just say 1, and save. 1 1. So I think it's still on top. Okay, let me just make sure I did it in the right place. Shape Z. Oh, I didn't put this guy. Okay, so that's why. Z index of 0, Z index of -1. Yeah, so that actually sorts it out, -1. So you see the shape is behind the button, so you can hover on the button and everything is nice. So that's how we solve that problem. Now the last thing we need to do is maybe this one I'll reduce the to like -1 and save. Okay, yeah, so it's lighter. So what we need to do now is we need to add an animation to this thing we just created. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add my animation. I'll just add it here. So I'll say so you know how we add our animation at keyframes. Okay, and the name of the animation is going to be rotate. Okay, then let's set the animation. So we'll say at 0%, and we're going to do that for 25%, 50, 75, and 100. Okay, so let me just say, or instead of doing it like this, right, let me first get rid of these guys and let me add the first one. So basically what I want is I want to set a transform tr. Okay, and I will say translate on the x-axis. So translate on the horizontal axis, and for the first one at 0%, I'll say -2 rem. Okay, so I can then go ahead and duplicate this 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, then this one is going to be 25, this one is going to be 50, this one is going to be 75, and this one is going to be 100. Yeah, all right, so for the 25%, we're going to do translate y. So it's going to be capital letter, and we're going to change this, we're going to leave this to -2 rem. Then for the 75%, we'll change it to 2 rem and translate x. Then 75%, we change it back to y, and we're going to translate 2%. And then at 100%, we are going to leave it as translate x, and we're going to set it to just 2 rem. Okay, so the first two have negative values, the last three, x, y, and x, have positive values. Okay, now we're not done, right? Remember, we're going to need to add the animation to this shape. So we're going to come here, and the name of the animation is rotate, and the animation duration is going to be let's say, okay, first let's say we want the animation to occur with this effect ease, and we want it to take 10 seconds, and we want it to be infinite. How many times do you want the animation to occur? So continuously infinite. And the animation timing function. I think we're going to say alternate and save. So you see, everything is moving nicely. Okay, now if you want to actually go to town on this animation, right, you can actually modify the animation for the different classes. Do you understand? Right, you can modify it. You can take this animation, you can actually even create 3 different animation for the different classes, or you can take this animation and put them in the different classes and modify how, you know, how they behave. Okay, you can do whatever you want with this. Okay, but so far I think we're done with the header and the intro section. Okay, let me see, is there any media query I need to add? I think so, yes. No, I don't think there's a media query. Everything is fine actually. Okay, so we're going to go to the next section. Okay, and the next section happens to be oh sorry, I gotta check the website. Okay, so it happens to be this services section, and you can see the effects we have here. So this is pretty easy and straightforward. Now that I think about it, I should have given this this button, not really a button, this link, I should have given it more effect, but I'm sure you can do something by yourself. So we're going to create the markup for this section right now. So let's go back to index.html, and I'll then come down. Okay, and remember we're going to put everything in a main container, so that's going to be like the content, the main content. Then we're going to create let me just create a comment here and say service. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so service. Okay, so what do? We create a section with an ID, not a class, with an ID of services plural, and inside it we create a container, container. Okay, so the first thing, let me scroll down so we can see what we're doing. So the first thing we want to do, right, is to create this heading. Okay, and this heading we are going to going to be like a reusable component. So what I'm going to do is I'll put it in a class. So let me just comment that, then I'll say dot heading. So subsequently when we want to use it, we can just grab it. Okay, so the first thing is let's add a h2 and let's give it a class of heading 2, heading -2, and this h2 is simply going to say a solution for every need, and let's just put that in there. And down below we're just going to add a paragraph, and the paragraph is going to say doesn't blah blah blah, and let's put that in there. Okay, so that's it for our heading. Now where is the end of the heading? This is it. So let's create the service items. Okay, so let me just say services, separate things out so you can visualize it when you see the code, because I'm going to put this code online so you can have it on GitHub. So I'll create a class, a div with a class of services. Okay, and okay, it's not going to have a modifier class, just a class of services. And let's inside these services, right, we're then going to create 3 different services. So I'll say service 1. Okay, then you know this div has a class of services plural, so I'll create a div with a class of service singular. Okay, and inside, the first thing I'll do is I'll create an icon, font awesome icon. So you know it's going to have FAS, then FA hyphen, then you specify so the first one we're going to use is this guy here, and it's called arrows alt. So ARROWS hyphen alt. So you can just go to font awesome and check out the icons they have. Okay, then we're going to add a h3 inside that's going to have a class of heading 3, just in case we need to reuse it. Okay, and it's going to say customer experience. Oh, my mouse has started. Okay, so I should probably get a new mouse today. So I'll do Ctrl C and I'll just paste that in. Ouch, Ctrl Z. Paste it in the wrong place. Ouch. Okay, then I'm going to add a paragraph. Sorry. So let's put a paragraph down here, and this paragraph is going to have a class of text hyphen small, because we're going to need the exact same styles for it again. So I'll just go ahead and copy the paragraph and I'll paste that in. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to just duplicate. Oh, there's going to be a link, so let me add the link before anything. So it's an a tag that is going to have a class of btn, sorry, dot btn simple. So it's a simple button, mple. Okay, and it's not going anywhere, but it's going to say, what does it say? Learn more. Learn more. Okay, so let me save that. Let's see what we've done. So this is what we have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate these services 3 more times, okay, and make my life easier. So this is the services. Where's the first one? And it ends here. So I'll just come here like so, and I'll say 1 2 3. So I've duplicated the services 3 more times. Okay, so you can just go ahead and even say 2, and you can say 3, and you can say 4, just to separate things out. It's not like it's actually necessary to comment. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to change the icons. Okay, so this one is going to say chart line, the second one. So let me just do 1 2 and say chart hyphen line. Then the third one is going to say chart pie, chart hyphen pie, and the last one is going to say clipboard list. Okay, so that's here. Clipboard hyphen list. So actually I have a plugin, right, that tells me the different fonts also on my icon, but I don't really use it. I don't know why. I think I'll try and start using it. So we have all our icons ready. All we need to do is to add some CSS to spice things up a little. So I'm going to go to my styles.css file, and do you know I've actually been recording straight for 1 hour. Talking for 1 hour is difficult, man, but I think I'm getting, used to this thing. All right, so let's come to styles.css and let's add the services section, and I'll see services, and just to, okay. So what's the first thing we want to do? Let's target the services section itself, and you see, because we moved this guy down, you see it has entered into the space for the services section. So we're going to add some margin on the top. We're going to add an extra 5 rem. Okay, so yeah, so we've added some more space. Okay, then let's get the heading. So the heading is this 2 bit of text here, so I'll say dot heading, and let's just do text align to center. Save that. Yeah, what do we do next? Let's get the heading 2, that's the h1, heading hyphen 2, sorry, the h2. Okay, let's give it a font size of, what did I use? I think I used 3 rem. Let's do a font width of 600. Let's do a line height of 1.5. Let's do padding of 2 rem on the top and bottom, 0 on left and right. Let's give it a color of I think I used dark gray. Okay, now let's get the paragraph. Okay, so for the paragraph, I'm just going to say I want the color, and this is going to affect all the paragraphs, right? So I better just take it to the paragraph, main paragraph tag I did before. Where is it? It's in my predefined styles. So color of hash 777 and save. Okay, yeah, so that's better. Then let's then target the services section. That's the section that holds all of these guys here. So you know what I did? I created a snippet for creating a grid layout. So if I just say grid and I hit tab, and I'll just need to change this to services. Okay, and if I save that, you see it puts my services in a grid. So the only thing I just and really you should check the description and see the video on how to create snippets if you don't know how. So basically this is display grid templates column of repeats, auto fit min max 25 rem 1 fr. I have a grid crash course on YouTube. If you don't know grid and flexbox, you can just spend 30 minutes and watch it, and it will be so clear. Then row gap and column gap. So what I'm going to do is I'll just add a padding or some padding on the top. So padding hyphen top, and I'm just going to do 5 rem 50 pixels and save. So we have some spacing. Okay, now let's target the individual services. So I'll say dot service. Let's start by giving it a border of 1px and solid, and hash ccc. Let's do a border radius of 3 border radius of 3px. Let's do some padding. We're gonna say 5 rem on the top and bottom, and 2 rem left and right. Let's save that. Yeah, so let's do text align. Let's set it to center. Let's do okay, we're going to set a hover class, right? So basically I can just go ahead here and do my transition all and 0.3 seconds and save. Okay, then for the hover class excuse me, we're going to come down here and say dot service and hover pseudo class. Okay, I always call it class, but it's actually a pseudo class. Let's do transform, and we're going to translate on the y-axis, and we want to move it upward, so that's minus 2 rem. And let's do let's change the border for the top, so BORD border top to 1px solid, and okay, I actually use 2px, so light blue. So let's change this to 2px and save. Now what happens is when you hover on it, it moves up, and there's a border on the top there, like so. Yeah, so that's it. So now what we need to do is we need to style the content of the services section. Okay, so first off, let's add some spacing around the content. So we're going to say dot service, and we're going to target all of the elements like so. That's the universal selector. Then we're going to add some padding for the bottom, so padding hyphen b, and we're going to do 1.5 rem. Save. Everything is spaced out. So now let's get the icon first. So dot service and icon. Let's give it a font size of 2 rem and a color of light blue. Save. That's fine. 2 rem seems small, maybe 2.3 rem. So that's better. Then let's do for the, is it h3? Yeah, the h3. So I'll just say heading 3. I think I used the heading 3 in another time, so that's why I actually gave it a class. Control Z somehow. So heading 3, let's give it a font size of 2 rem. Let's give it font weight 600, and line height of 1, then color of dark gray. Save. So that's fine. The only thing we want to do for the text, so dot service, it's not actually the text. Like what we're just going to do for the text is let's see. Okay. Is this where we actually start using the text small? I think so. So text hyphen small, and we're just going to set the font size to 1.4 rem. Yeah. Okay, I think I may need to take a break here. Then yeah, so what we need to do is to style the button. That's the link. So I'll come down here and say dot service and a tag. This one is going to have a font size of 1.6 rem. I'm actually thinking if I can just use the styling for this one here, but sometimes it may not be wise because that they may like, well, let me just do what I'm doing right now, right? Because there may be some customizations you need to do specific. So anyway, this is not about refactoring your code. This is just about teaching you how to build stuff. Okay, so there's actually the part of refactoring your CSS and making sure that everything, that your code is not repeated and stuff like that. Okay, that one you do over time. So text decoration none, or you do after you've built your project. Let's set the color to light blue. Let's set the position to relative. I wonder why I'm setting the position to relative, but we're going to find out. Okay, I know why. We're going to set a what's it called, a pseudo element. Okay, before pseudo element. So I'm going to come down here and say dot service vice a and before, so this should be 2, and for that, remember, we're going to set the position to absolute. Okay, content to something blank, then we're going to see that from the left we want it to be 0, and from the bottom we want it to be 1 rem. That's 10 pixels. We want it to have a width of 100% and a height, so this is going to be height of all these shortcuts I use. Sometimes I wonder if it's necessary. It's taking me more time to modify it. And the height of, I think I used 3 pixels. Okay, 1 pixels. Let me just use 2px. Okay, and save. Then we want a background color, same light blue. Save, and there we have it. So but then there's one thing I forgot, that's to add this arrow sign here. Okay, so but we need to do that inside of the HTML. Okay, so let me show you how I did it. What I did was, inside of the services, the a tag, after the learn more, right? So let me go and do it on the first one, then I'll paste it, or I can even do it on all of them together. So let me show you a trick I use. What I do is, if I click this first one, right, I'll just come here, press Alt on my Windows machine, click the second one, and I'll press Alt again, click the third one, and click the last one. I'll give it space and it will affect everything. I'll add a span, and inside the span I'll just say and ra, and then I'll close that off, and that's it. I'll save that, and if we go to here you see that we have the arrow. Okay, so I hope I taught you something there. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right, so basically I think we're done with this section. So let me expand it and see what we have. Expand. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Ooh, so this text here is actually white. It's not white rather. And where is my button? Oh, see where my button is displayed. Okay, so that's why we have to, view our this thing on all device width. So I'm going to have to fix that. So let me come here, and I think it's the intro section. So where are you? So the paragraph color of ouch, color of white. Save that, and that should fix that. Then the button, where is the button? Okay, yeah, so the button, what am I missing out on the button? So it works fine here, but when you expand it, it moves down. So I think I'm just going to come here and set the display for the button to is it inline block, and save that. Whatever I'm even doing now, Seth, is supposed to be on the big screen. Okay, on like the width of the device is supposed to be like this. I can't remember exactly how I solved this problem. Let's see. Okay. Wow. So let me just figure out how I solve this problem. And oh, so I remember, it's not even the button that's the issue. Yes, you can leave the button to display inline block, but it's the image that is the issue. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to tell this image that don't allow any elements to come inside you. That's what we need to tell the image. And so that means we need to go to the intro section, and we need to tell the image to display as a block element. So remember that if it's a block element, then it's going to occupy all the width. So it's occupying all the width, but it's not centered. How do we center it? I'm sure you can pick a guess. So we just need to see margin 0 and auto. So it's going to center it horizontally inside its container. Yeah, voila. So that was not so difficult, just that I didn't exactly remember how I did it before. All right, so that's fine. So we've built the services section. All we need to do is to go on and build the order sections. Okay. Yeah. So I think I want to add a hover pseudo class for this guy. So that's this guy here. So let me come here, and I didn't do that in the original tutorial, but let me just do it here. So service, and before service, and Control C, and I'll come down, paste that in, and say hover pseudo class. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a background color, and I'll use the RGBA notation, and I'll just use this one, but I'll change it to like 0.3 and save. Remember, let's add a transition to make this transition smooth, all on 0.3 seconds, and save that. And hopefully when you hover on the button, ouch, it doesn't look good. I need to style it some more, and that's going to take time. So okay, it's going to take time actually, but we don't give up, right? So let me do 0.1. So Yeah, this is definitely better. So let me, this hover class, right? Let me just make this 0 from the bottom and save. Okay. Then for the, this is going to take time, man, and I don't want to spend so much time. So forgive me. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm just going to leave it out. Okay. All right. So, but why don't you go ahead and, what did I put here before? I think it was -1 rem. So oh, sorry, it was 1 rem, not -1 rem. Okay, so you can go ahead and style this and make it as good as you want. Okay, so but what I'm definitely going to do now is I'm going to take a break before I build out the next section, because believe me, I'm tired. All right, so I'll take a break and I'll be back to continue the project. All right, thank you so much for sticking with me. See you soon. All right, so we're back. Let's build the next section, which I call the consult section. Get a free consultation. So starting with the markup, markup. Let's come down here. Okay, so we're gonna create a section with an ID of consult, I think, and inside of it we're going to have a container, a div with a container and consult. Okay, now let's look at the structure. So this is the structure of what we want to build. So we're going to apply the grid class to it. So first off, let's do a div with a class of consult text xt, and the second one is going to be consult image. Okay, so we're going to apply the grid class to each of them. So in the consult text, the first thing we have is this h2 here, and we're going to use the heading -2 class. Remember, we created it before, so let's just grab what we have here. Ouch, come on, and let's paste that in. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to create these guys here, the icon and the paragraph text. Okay, so we're going to put that inside another div with a class of consult item. Okay, so consult hyphen item, and the first is going to be, let's grab the icon. So we have an icon somewhere, so we're going to use this icon, and consult item, we'll paste that in, and we're going to change this to check circle. Okay, and then we're going to add a paragraph. So let me just grab this paragraph and copy that, and I'm just going to paste that here. Okay, so this consult item, right, we're just going to duplicate it how many times? 2 more times. So let me highlight it like so, and 1 2. Okay, then let's just go ahead and change the text inside like so. So the second one is going to say this text, and the last one is going to say this. Oh, the last one is actually the same. Okay, all right. Then for the consult image, oh, we need a button, so let's add a button. So come down here, and what does the button say? Get a free consultation. So, well, can just grab this button here. Okay, actually it's better to grab this button. Oh, we can actually just take any button. I don't know why I'm just wasting time looking for a button. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this button here, and where am I pasting it? Okay, so I'm pasting it right here, and I'll give it a modifier class of button hyphen square. Okay, to change some of the properties. All right, so let's enter the image, and let's add an image tag with a class. Let's enter the images folder I did this when I was actually building the project initially. Okay, so I think it's, let me see which image I actually used. I used the chart. So charts dot, is it png? Yeah, png, and save, and that's it. We're done for the markup section. So let's see what we've done so far. So this is what we have. Doesn't make any, this, it's not pretty, but we're going to style it now. So let's do services section, comments as usual. No, this is consult section. All right. So what do we have? So first off, let's grab the consult section class, and let's give it a background color of, I use this one hash F5, so it's like a gray color, and save. So it makes it a bit different from this one, gives it a kind of gray contrast. Okay, then, okay, remember we have a button here. all right all right, so let's continue. Now let's get the consult class. Let me try and be fast here, but instead of getting the consult class, I'm just going to use my grid snippet and change this to consult. Save that, and you see it has displayed everything in a grid. So but we are going to change this to 35. Okay, oh yeah, then let's come here. Sometimes I wish, like, I wish I had a wider screen, like not necessarily a wider screen. Let me just continue. Many times when I write code and I don't like shrinking my notepad, my Visual Studio Code too small, but it's what we have at the moment. So I'll say dot consult item, which are the items inside. I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, consult item. Wait, let me just check my HTML and see what I'm trying to do. Consult item, consult text. Okay, the consult text should actually come first. Just a minute. Consult text h2. Oh, I see the problem here. So this should actually be class equals to, I was wondering, heading 2, and I should actually change that here and save. Okay, and let's see. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely better than what. Okay, so yeah, so I can go ahead and style the consult item. Okay, so let me shrink this up and go back to my styles.css, and for the consult item I'm going to use the flex display. So I have a snippet for that, so I'm just going to say just a minute. So I'm just going to say flex. Okay, then I will then change this to consult item and save. Okay, but the justify content will not be spaced between, it will be flex start, and save. Okay, then I'm going to target the I'm going to add some padding. padding on the bottom, padding hyphen bottom, and I'm just going to say 1 rem and save. So that should space things out a little. Then let's target the icon. So I'll say dot consult item and icon. Let's give it just a font size of 2 rem. Let's give it a color of, there's a color I use, right? I'll just grab the color. No need to type it out. Control C, and yeah, so this is the color I used. And let's add some margin on the right. So marg R. Let's just do 1 rem as well. Okay, so now let's get the text itself. So dot consult item and paragraph. Let's just increase the font size to 1.8 rem. Okay. It doesn't look like it took effect, so let me look at it one more time. Consult item, and wow, what did I even do in this? What did I even do in this place here? So I didn't actually create a paragraph tag, so I'm going to have to do that like so. I'm sure you saw all these things when I was doing them, but you couldn't tell me that, oh Zeno, you're making a mistake. But that's fine. So let me copy this, cut, and paste that in. Okay, maybe I'll just pause the video and correct this. It's actually going to take a couple of seconds, so let me just do that. Ctrl V, like so, Ctrl X, Ctrl V, and save. Let's come back to styles. All right, so you see it has taken effect. So basically I think we are done with this section. It's not a very difficult section. It adjusts. Yeah, we're done with this section. So what we need to do now is we need to build the next section, which is this section. I can't remember what I named it, but let me just check it out. So after the console section, we have the features section, and this we're going to actually learn a lot in this section. So let me come to index.html, and I'm going to need to bring this out because it's HTML. And let's just come down here and see features section. Okay, so section with an ID of features. Let's add a container class with a modifier class of features. Then inside the features we have 2 components. We have the features image and the features text. So feature, okay, feature singular image, and I'll just duplicate that and change this to feature text. Okay, can go ahead and space this out. For the feature image, we're just going to do the image tag, and we use the phone.png. So images and phone. Okay, for the alt text, well, we can just say phone, just in case the internet of user is bad, that alt text will show. So next we are going to grab the heading. Well, I can just say feature heading actually. So what I'm going to do is inside here I'll create a class of feature hyphen heading, and I'll just put a h2 with a class of heading 2, heading hyphen 2, and I'm going to give another class of text hyphen white. Okay, that's because I'm at this point I'm just actually going to use text white, so I'll copy that and paste that. But before then, let me come to my styles.css, right, and let me just add a class of text hyphen white. So if you've taken my course on HTML, you see where I talked about utility classes. Okay, so I'll just set the color to white. So this is like a utility class that will be used everywhere. Okay, so after that we have a paragraph that is going to say this stuff here. So let me copy it. It's not copying. Okay, yeah. So copy, and I'll paste that in here. And the paragraph also, let me give it a class of text white. Okay, then what else? So we have this other div here that will this guy here at the bottom. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to feature heading. I'm going to come down here and say feature items. So dot feature items, and we're then going to put in the individual items inside it. Okay, so let me just space, and so feature, I'm just going to say item 1. Okay, then I'll then say dot feature hyphen item singular. Okay, and we're going to have 3 of these. So but what do we have? We have an icon. So let me grab an icon somewhere. Where do we have an icon? So here, Control C, and let's paste the icon there. Then we have this text. I think that text is h3. So let's just say h3 with a class of heading 3, and this first one says developer API, and I actually did not bother to change the text. I just used it all around. Ouch. Okay, so developer API, okay, then we then have this bit of text below it. So that's just going to be paragraph with a class of text small. So remember, we created a class of text small, and this is also going to take text white, and it's going to say, let's just add this, Control C, paste that in there. Okay, so what we just need to do is we need to duplicate this guy here, like so. Just make sure, yeah, so we need to duplicate it twice, and I'm just going to change the icon right away. So the first one is arrow, alt, chart line, and chart chart pie. So this first one, I'm just going to change it to arrows hyphen alt. The second one is going to be chart hyphen line, and that's the last one. So let me just make the second one chart hyphen pie. So that's about it for this section. So we're going to add some styles for that. Okay, yeah, so let's go to our styles.css, and let's shrink this guy up a little. Okay, let me see, what did I call that section? Features. Okay, so let's start by targeting the first important thing is to give it a background. But before we give it a background, right, I'm going to add some styles for this image. This image is massive, so it doesn't make sense the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down and see dot feature hyphen image, and let me target the image inside it, and let's give it a width of 100. I actually did that at the top, 100% of the container. Then anyway, that's fine. So for this, the important thing is the background, not background color, but background. Now the background is going to have two components. It's going to have both a URL and a linear gradient. So let's start. So I'll say linear gradient, and the linear gradient is going to be to bottom. To bottom, I'll add a comma, and I would just grab the colors, right? There are two colors I used. So let me grab them, RGBA notation, and I'll just paste them in so you can see them. So these are the two colors, right? Then I'm going to come out here, I'll add a comma, and I'll then add my URL, which is going to target a background image. So let's get an images, and bg.jpg and save. So you see here that we have an image on the background and the linear gradients. Yeah, so that's what we wanted to do. Now let's come out here and set the background repeats to no repeats. Let's set the background size to cover. Then let's set the background attachment, which is going to att. Let's set it to fixed, which is going to create that kind of parallax effect. Okay, then let's set the height to 75%, 75, and save. Okay, all right, now let's begin to apply, make this thing make sense. We'll come here and say dot feature. No, we don't even need to say dot features. We'll just use our grid snippets. Grid. Okay, and we'll come here and change this to features and save. And see, that's changed the orientation already, and this looks a lot better. So but we are going to modify the snippet. So this we are going to make to 35, not 25. Yeah, that's about it. Let's save that. Then let's then target these guys here. Okay, so these two actually looks fine as they are. So so basically what we need to do is we're just going to target the feature items themselves, but let's add some padding. So I'll say feature hyphen heading, let's padding on the bottom. Let's do 2 rem. Great. Okay, we'll come down and we'll then target the feature item, and we're going to use grid display too. So I may as well just say grid and hit tab and change this to feature hyphen item, and I'm also going to change this to 17 and save. Yeah, so you see what we have. I think I did something wrong. Did I do something wrong? So this is this guy. Let me expand this and see. Oh, this should be feature items plural. Yes, because that's the container that contains everything. Okay, yeah, so that's the error I made. Okay, all right, so we're then going to target the feature item and put some padding below everything. So I'll say feature item singular, and I'll say that all of the elements inside should have some padding on the bottom, and I'm just going to do 1.5 rem, and I'll save that. Okay, then we're then going to individually target the content. So first off is the icon. So feature item, and let's get the icon. Let's give it a font size of 3 rem and a color of white. Save that. Voila. What do we want to do next? So that feature item and I thought we gave this h3. Oh, maybe we didn't. So let me check the HTML. We didn't give the h3 a class of text white. Okay, so I'll just do it here, and I'll say h3. I'll say color of white. Save. Yeah. So I think everything is ready to go, except that this image needs to move upwards. So for the image, I'll come here and say transform and translate on the y-axis, and I'll do minus 15 rem and save. So you see what that does? It moves the image upwards like so. Okay, so let me open this up. Let's see how it displays. So this is what it displays like, right? But I think this space below is too much. It's too freaking much. So let me do this, and for the section itself, that's this guy here, I'm going to say that the padding on the bottom should be 0, and save, and that reduces the space just a little. Okay, is there a better way? Anything I can do? Okay, I think I know what the problem is, right? This should be 75 rem, actually a figure. Yeah, so you see, it looks better. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to build this section, and this is actually very straightforward and easy. I call it the action section. So let me expand this. I'm not going to take a break. I'll just do it right here. So I'll expand this like so, and I'll go to my index HTML. Okay, then I'm actually even thinking of building everything that is left, but I won't do that. So I'll call it action. Action in the sense that it's asking the user to do something. So section with an ID of action, and it's going to be inside the container also. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to use the heading which we've used before in the services section. So let's just go up to the services section, this guy here. So you see this heading, we're just going to grab it, copy that, come down. See what I said is very straightforward. Paste that in, and we're going to change the content to, what are you waiting for? That's a question. So then doesn't matter, blah blah blah. Then we're going to add a button. Okay, that button is just going to be directly below the paragraph. I think we have a link somewhere. Sometimes the time I spend going to copy these things, I would have done it myself, like just typed it out. But okay, let's just paste that in here. Then start free trial today. Yeah, class of button square. Yeah, that's fine. So let's save, and let's see what we've done. So the button is white, and I think also here we didn't add the class of button square. That's the problem. Okay, so we're going to add the class of button square to fix this. Okay, so let me come down, and it should actually be up top at the, but I'll just add it here where we are. Okay, so let's just say action, and first off let's just say dot btn hyphen square sq. That's the modifier class. And what do we want it to look like? We want it to, let me just look at the original one. Okay, so we want to change the background color to light blue, Then we want, let me see, we want to remove the border radius, reduce it to like 3px. Then we want it such that when you hover on it, right, the background color becomes white. So let me save this and let's go back. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so this is all we need to do. When you hover on it, the color becomes white. Yeah, so what we're going to do, and if you go up, you see that it also takes effect for this guy here, but we may need to add some padding to space it out from this first guy. So I'm sure you can do that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put some space between the button and this guy. So let me just come here and say action, and funny enough, I did not put a specific class. Okay, so let's come to our style, and we're simply going to say we're going to target the action class and the a tag, which is the link, and we're going to add some margin on the top, and for that we're just going to do 3 rem and save, and that's the space we're looking for. So we're done with that section. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so let's do the last section, which happens to be the footer section. Wow, 1 hour 41 minutes. All right, so let's see if we can do this before 2 hours. So this footer section should be actually pretty straightforward. It's just the markup that has some. So I'll come outside here and I'll create a footer tag. Okay, and this is just for semantics, really. It doesn't mean if you put it in a div it will not still function. It will. Okay, but semantics programming or coding detects that. So let's do container and footer. Then the first thing we have is the footer logo, right? So let me create a div for that. So dot footer hyphen logo, and inside we're going to have the image of our logo dot svg. Okay, let's come out of this. Then we're going to create a div with a class of footer hyphen links, and we're going to need 2 of these, but first let's put in an unordered list with list elements. And how many do we want? We want 5. So you see what we did there? Emmet makes our lives easy. We actually missed something. We want let me see. I think we see times 5, and we then put a tag inside. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so here we're just going to, so about us, about, I can just say about, then here I'll say contact, then here I'll say blog, this one is going to say help, and this one is going to say affiliate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this footer link div one more time. Then the last one is I'm going to create a div. So I may as well go ahead and change the content, but I don't want to spend time doing that. You can do that on your own. Then I will change the last div will be footer credits. Footer credits. And basically what's going to be inside is first a paragraph that will say sign up for our newsletter. We'll just copy and paste that in, and below that we're going to have a form that isn't going to do anything, but it's going to have an input with a type of text and a placeholder of enter email. Then we're going to have another input with, this time it's going to have a type of button, submit, and that's all. Okay, so we're going to come outside the form, add a paragraph and say 2021 and HTML entity of copy. So that's like this and like so. Then we're then going to see Zeno Trust. So ideally this would be a link, but no time. So all rights reserved. Okay. All right, let me show you what I mean by this will be a link. So this will actually be like an A tag that will go to xyz.com, put a hash there. So I can even leave it blank. Then inside the link, so if the link wants to go to like let me write my website, https /zenotrustacademy.com. Then inside here is where you now, let me cut this guy, Control X, and I'll now paste that in here. That's what I mean by ideally to be a link. Okay, so let me save that and let's go and add our styles. So yeah, and this is the nonsense we've done so far, but when we add CSS, the nonsense will become sense. So I'll come to my styles.css and wow, I'm excited that we are done with this project. I get tired towards the end of every project. So footer, and for that we're just going to see footer, and first off let's add a padding. Now this is the padding we added for the normal section, but you know the footer is not, is a different tag, so we need to add it manually. Then we're going to add a background color of black. Save that. Yeah, that's better. Then let me shrink this up so we can see what we're doing, man. Then we're going to do a color of white. Then we're going to do some yeah, that's it. So that's what we have. Then we're going to get the footer class. So this first footer is an element, right? This is a class. So instead of saying footer, right, we're just going to use our grid. Okay, then we're going to change this to footer. We're going to change the min max to 15, and we're going to change the row gap to 4m and save. Voila. So basically all we just need to do is to style the components of the footer. So I'm excited that we're almost done with the project, okay, because we're not done until we're done. So dot footer and footer links, right? And we have an unordered list and li. Okay, so let's remove the list star, set it to none. That to get rid of the balls in front. Then let's add some padding on the bottom. Let's just do one rem. Save that and voila. Then there's something here that looks like a link. I think that there's a mistake with the unordered list text, so let me just look for it. Oh, there's no mistake here. So let's continue. And footer links, let's get the a tag, so I can just grab these guys here, come down here, paste that in and add a normal. So normal level will just be font size of 1.4m. Then color white. You know, I don't know why this first text about is the color is not being affected. So I think let me just take a closer look. About, I don't know why it's not being affected. about, yeah, it's correctly placed. The about is placed inside the link while others are placed outside of the link. Wow, this is work. The about word is placed inside the link while the remaining text are placed outside. I don't really have this time. Okay, let me try and see. Control X, and if I paste that in here, Control V, Control X. This is how it's actually supposed to be. Oh, I don't know if I'm good. Oh, I have 10 more minutes. Okay, so let me save that, and that should correct it. Yeah, so that actually corrects it. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to duplicate this one. Yeah, so like so, and save. Then if I come here, I'll be able to add my stars and say color of white and save. Voila. Okay. Text decoration to none. That will get rid of the underline. And you may as well just add a hover class or something like that, but I'm just going to stop here, man. I don't, or maybe I should. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'll just come to this footer credit straight up. Okay, so I'll say dot footer credit hyphen credit, and I will do text align. Okay, no, I don't need to align anything, it's already aligned to the left, I think. That means I'll just go straight to the form. So form, then for the form, what do I want? Right, I want a margin on the bottom, not just on the bottom, I think on the top and bottom. So margin of, let's do 3 rem, sorry, 1 rem on the top and bottom. Yeah, so that will space things out a little. So I'll then target the form input. Okay, so form and input. Then what will I do for this? I'll give it a font size of 1.4. Okay, let's add some padding of 1 rem. Okay, let's do a width of 100%. Then let's do border radius of 3px. Okay, so now we're going to target the input. Okay, oh sorry, we're going to target the input with the submit button. Yeah, so that's just say form and input, then we then say type of submit. So type equals to, then in quotes, double quotes, we'll then say submit. Yeah, then for that I'll just do a background color. Let's use our light blue. Let's give it a color of white for the text and save. Okay, then for the input button itself, let's add a margin, just on the top is okay, and just 3px, really, just to separate things just a little. Yeah, like that. So I think that's fine, really. The Xenotrust, the text here, so I gotta say footer credits dot footer credits, and the a tag should have a color of, let's just do hash 777 and save. Yeah, or we can even just say white so that it stands out and save. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So I am happy to announce to you that we are done with the project. Okay, but we need to add some media queries like for some sections. I think maybe just one section, actually the features section, which is services features, this one, right? So if you try to shrink this guy, you see that it doesn't display well. We can't find any of the text. So we're going to fix that with some media queries. Okay, so at this point, let's watch as it keeps going down, and at this point you can't see it anymore. So let's add some media queries. So I'll go to media queries, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'll just add a comment here and say tablets. Okay, then remember how we do this thing at media for screen and max width of, so we're going to go with 900 px this time. So what do we want to happen? First, we want to target the features, right? So hash features, and we want to give it a height of 100%. You know, before it was 75 rem, we gave it because it was too tall. So if you save that, it's going to be much longer. Then we're going to come down here, and we're going to target the features class and change the display to flex. Then we're going to change the flex direction to column. Okay, save that. And have we gotten to 900 yet? I want us to be at 900. Okay, so that's what we have now. Then we're going to target the image itself. So dot feature hyphen image, I think, yeah. Then img. Then we're going to transform and remove the translate on the y-axis. So we're going to set that to 0 and save. Yeah. So okay. So let me shrink this up. It doesn't. Yeah, so it looks a lot better now, okay, than before. Okay, so I think we can even still translate this guy upwards. So let me just do translate of minus, let's just start with 10 rem. I don't think I did it in the original one. So 15 rem as it was before. Yeah, so yeah, we can actually leave it like this. Okay, so let me just open this up and let's see what we've been able to build. So this is what we've been able to build so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stop the lecture here. I don't want it to get to 2 hours, and I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3 of this tutorial. In the part 2, I'm going to add the animations. In the part 3, I'm going to show you how to host this project on Netlify and GitHub, and maybe there's going to be a part 4 where I'm going to show you how you can actually collect email when people subscribe. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so thank you so much for watching the tutorial. If you enjoyed it, then go back to YouTube, because some people actually download it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and leave a like on the video. By the way, don't forget to tell me the color of this guy here because I still don't know at this point. All right, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. But I finished the recording and I realized that there's an issue with the website in terms of this guy here. I think it's caused by the circle that goes out. Okay, so let's just fix that with 2 lines of CSS. So first off, just come to your styles.css and come to your body. Okay, what you need to do is, first off, you need to give the body a width of 100%, and you need to set the overflow on the x-axis to hidden. That's on the horizontal axis, and if you save that, you see that the bar at the bottom is gone, so everything is smooth and responsive, fully responsive. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and see you in another video. All right, so we've built the website, but I absolutely forgot that we've not added JavaScript smooth scrolling. Okay, so if you come to the main website, when you click on services, you see that it scrolls smoothly to the service section. Same for the features section. Okay, so let's see how we can add that with JavaScript. So basically, I'll go to my script.js, right, and I would come here and add a comment. I'll just say smooth scroll. Okay, scrolling. Okay, now what we're going to do first is let's create a variable and set that variable to be the variable name is going to be links, and we're going to set it to be document dot query selector, and we're going to use query selector all. Okay, because we want to be able to pick all the queries in the HTML document. So first, I'm going to target the nav-ul, which is the unordered list, and inside we have a list item, and then we have an a tag. Okay, let's close this up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a for, and I'm going to loop through. So I'll say const link of links. Okay, and I'm going to then say link dot add event listener. Now what do I want to add? I want to add a click event, so I'll say click, and I'll add a comma, and I want to call a function called smooth scroll. Okay, so remember, we've not created that function, so what we're going to do, we're going to come down here and create the function. So I would say, I can just say function, and I'll say smooth scroll, and here we're going to call the event. Okay, because when you click on it, I don't want the page to refresh, and I'm going to come here and say e dot prevent default, and that's all for that. Ouch. Like so, and then I will then create another variable, so I'll say const href. Let me close this up. So const href is going to be equals to this dot get attributes. So this should be dot get attribute. And what attribute am I trying to get? I'm trying to get the href attribute. Okay, so let me show you what I'm trying to do, right? Or maybe I should finish coding, then we'll then explain what we're doing. Okay, so if this variable is getting the href attribute, right? So I'll come down here and I'll say document dot query selector, and I'll then get the href. Okay, so I'm not going to add quotes because I'm actually getting the variable href, and then I'll say dot scroll. It's a JavaScript function, JavaScript method, scroll into view. Okay, open a bracket and curly quotes, and then we'll set the behavior of the scroll. Ouch. The behavior, and we're going to set the behavior to smooth. Okay, we can leave it like this. Okay, if you want to add another property, you need to add a comma, but we can just leave it like this and save. And yeah, so let me explain what we just did. Okay, so first off, we created a link variable, okay, to get all of these links here. Then we used a for statement to loop through, and then when we looped through, we created an event listener that is going to call a function called smooth scroll. Came down here, created the smooth scroll function, prevented a reload when you click on it, and we then created a href attribute that was going to get the attribute href. Okay, and basically document.query selector href is getting the href of these guys. So if you come here to index.html, right, you'll see that we have this href here, and this is services. The href is going to this service section at the bottom here. So we then say that how do we want the behavior of that movement to be? Okay, we then say that we want the behavior, that is the scroll into view behavior, to be smooth. Chicken, that's what we just did. I just spoke Hausa. Okay, so we'll save that, and if you come here and you and you click on services, you see that it's smooth. You go up, you click on features, and you see that, wow, that's fantastic. Okay, so that's basically how you add your smooth scroll with JavaScript. Okay, so that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and see you in the next video, where we are going to talk about adding the animations, these animations you see here. All right, see you later, guys.